Good morning. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist congregation of Monmouth County. My name is Liz Tortorella, and my pronouns are she and her. I serve on worship, music, and community life committees, and I'm happy to talk about any of those committees at any time. And now I get to read one of my favorite sentences in the English language. Whoever you are, whomever you love, however you arrived at this beloved place, you are welcome here. Our mission is to create community, transform ourselves, and transform the world. I draw your attention to the back side of your orders of service for announcements and service information for next week. For those of you on the live stream and for video viewers, the order of service link is available to you in the YouTube service description box. After service, refreshments will be served in the community room, and people of all ages are welcome to visit with one another. And I have a special announcement from Judy Stevens about today's coffee hour. And she writes, because neither Fran Mertz, our coffee hour assistant, nor Judy Stevens can be at coffee hour today, it will be limited to cold drinks and light noshing fare. Thank you for your understanding. We'll be back to our usual, plus a new membership cake next Sunday for the service and the annual meeting. If you are new to us, please do check out our website, UUCMC.org, where you can sign up to get all the latest news of the congregation by email. We look forward to getting to know you better. Please put your devices on silent as we enter into worship together. Welcome again to this place of love and hope.
Good morning, everybody. I will be performing June from the Seasons by Peter Ilyich Tchaikovsky. We are all familiar with the Vivaldi Four Seasons, but Tchaikovsky does have his own set. And in the Russian to English translation, Seasons, it's more appropriately the months. It's a 12-movement piano suite, each movement representing a month. For the obvious, it is the beginning of June, the first day of June, so I chose June, which is a particularly beautiful movement from this set, but on the greater theme. Modern scholarship sort of puts Tchaikovsky, we just accept that, which he probably was, may have well been, homosexual, but we must keep in mind that that modern scholarship is quite old, certainly predates our color spectrum of LGBTQ, and he may have identified along somewhere there or not identified. He may have been just what he was, or as he may have said and felt and just admitted that I am what I am without it, which you will learn more about that later from Reverend Craig. He's pretty unanimously agreed to be one of the greatest composers of all time, certainly in capturing style and a character. He's really unmatched, particularly in his way of an incredible knack, an incredible ability to create long, protracted melodies and characters, such inventive melodies in all of his works. He mastered every genre, but that amazing, colorful musical ideas do not only appear in his operas and ballets, but also smaller works like string quartets, overtures, and like this piano suite. As you will hear, June, the Barcarolle is no different.
I'm the Reverend Dr. Craig Rubano. I use he, him, his pronouns, and it is good to see you this morning on the first Sunday in June, the month when our congregational theme is freedom. June also marks, as Michael reminds us, the beginning of National LGBTQ Pride Month, when the freedom merely to be oneself and to experience the blessing of one's own embodied life is under attack in this supposed land of the free. and in particular for those with a more fluid sense of gender than many of us may experience. I hope a number of you will join our congregation at the 33rd Annual New Jersey Pride March and Festival in Asbury Park. Immediately following the service, we'll march to spread the good news of our faith movement, that each one of us is an expression of the personal freedom to be who we are, in as much authenticity as we can muster, and that we accomplish this together in the friendship of community. So at 11:30, we now have a meeting place B on Summerfield Avenue between Bond Street and Emery Street. It's written on outside in the lobby for those of you present in the meeting house. So let's get started being ourselves in all of our authenticities by hearing our call to worship, with the word worship understood in its original meaning of a shaping concern for all that is of worth. And I promise that includes you and me. These words are from the Reverend Hannah Roberts Villeneuve, minister of the UU Church of Cheyenne, Wyoming. People sometimes ask, is pride a protest or a party? And the answer is, of course, yes. And why not? Why not rejoice as we resist? Dance as we demand change. Celebrate as we create community that delights in all of who we are. So bring all of that with you this morning. Bring your policy demands, bring your glitter, bring your Supreme Court broken heart, bring your rainbow socks, bring the emptiness you feel for our siblings gone too soon. Bring your tunes remix, bring your tender hope for change. Bring your most garish eyeshadow. Bring your spirit, tattered and battered by a world that seems insistent on choosing fear and hate. Gather up all these things and bring them here, to a place where we do not have to shoulder these burdens or celebrate these joys alone. Come, let us worship together. Each week we place a flame at the center of a chalice, uniting two symbols of old in what has become the emblem of this Unitarian Universalist faith movement. In doing so, we remind ourselves that it is we who create sacred space by our gathering, that our own inner sparks require the ongoing rekindling that community provides. I thank Karen Christiana for lighting our chalice flame this morning. Our chalice lighting words come to us in the form of three short pieces by Nayira Wahid, an Instagram sensation poet who combines tersely lined verses with a passion for dismantling oppressions. So three pieces by Wahid. If the ocean can calm itself, so can you. We are both salt water mixed with air. No might make them angry, but it will make you free. If no one has ever told you, your freedom is more important than their anger. And I said to my body, softly, I want to be your friend. It took a long breath and replied, I have been waiting my whole life for this. And now I invite us to rise in body and or spirit to sing together our opening hymn, number 361 in the hymnals, and on the screens, Enter, Rejoice, and Come In.
Today will be a joyful day.
some new words there that I kind of caught me by surprise. We'll find out who did that. It wasn't Michael. All right. It's a little racy for my taste for Sunday morning. This morning we won't sing our younger people to family ministry small groups since this regular year's programming came to an end last week. Summer worship programming and summer drop-ins for our youngest begin June 15th. However, as a kind of reading to inform my reflections to you, I share a story that speaks to our theme for the month and for the day, the freedom to be ourselves in all their glory, to do so unapologetically, and to create an atmosphere where others can do the same. There once was a beautiful and powerful tiger. One day, she was captured by a mean and cruel man who put her in a cage. The man kept the cage in the jungle not far from his house. Every day he would bring out a bowl of water and some food for the lonely tiger. Sometimes the tiger would see her own reflection in the bowl of water, and she would say, "My, I must be a beautiful tiger." When the man heard her say this, he would lie and tell her, "No, you are not a beautiful tiger. You're very ugly. You're a pitiful creature." Sadly, the tiger would believe the man. Some days after she ate her food, she would walk back and forth in her small cage and feel energy and power moving through her body, and she would say, "My, I must be a powerful tiger." When the man heard her say this, he would lie and tell her, "No, you are weak and puny. You're a pitiful creature." Sadly, the tiger would believe the man. Then one day when the man was nowhere around, a lion happened to walk by the cage. The lion saw the tiger inside and spoke to her, "Beautiful and powerful tiger, what are you doing lying about in that cage?" "Do not make fun of me," replied the tiger. "I know that I am neither beautiful nor powerful." "I'm not making fun of you," said the lion. "You are surely the most beautiful and powerful tiger I have ever seen. I'm only surprised to see you lying here when you are clearly strong enough to break out of that cage." "You really think I could break out of here?" asked the tiger. "Quite easily, I should think," replied the lion. The tiger was not so sure at first. She had been told so many times that she was a weak and pitiful creature. But suddenly it seemed that she could feel energy and strength moving through her body. She began to pace back and forth in her cage, and then, almost without thought, she leapt against the cage door, and it flew open without any resistance. Once outside, she seemed dazed. That cage didn't even have a lock on it. "I spent so much of my life stuck here, and the door wasn't even locked." The lion looked at her with soft brown eyes and said, "Those kinds of traps don't need locks, for it is the lies we believe in that keep us in our cages, and it is the truth that sets us free."
Every week in this congregation, we are provided with an opportunity to practice generosity. This is your invitation to contribute to the well-being of our congregation and to our social justice partners through the good works of organizations which receive half of the monies collected each month. When a month has 5 Sundays, Reverend Craig, in consultation with the Social Justice Committee, selects a recipient for the entire plate one Sunday morning of that month. Today's special 5th Sunday recipient is High Tops Trans Youth Forum, a nonprofit organization that fosters strong and healthy young people of all identities by providing inclusive and youth-informed sex education and LGBTQ+ support throughout New Jersey. For those of you present here in the meeting house, the plates will be passed by the ushers. You may also join this time of generosity via text, send your offering by mail, or charge your contribution online with a memo designating an amount to High Tops Trans Youth Forum. Please give generously.
To use the imagery from our story wisdom this morning, how many cages are there in each of our lives that don't even require locks on them? So studiously have we believed the lies others tell about us, the lies even we tell about ourselves. What will it take for us to believe the truth which will set us free? I suggest that it will take each of us to experience an inner freedom. And that freedom, much as it did for the tigers hearing the truth from the friendly lion, that freedom for us likely will emerge from healthy relationships of trust, from friendships, from community. When one talks about freedom, various things come to mind, often divided into the freedom to act, to think, to speak as one wants, without hindrance or restraint, and the freedom from those constraints or hindrances. Many of the restraints can be evident to all: lack of opportunity, lack of money, lack of legal recognition. Other restraints are more hidden to the public eye, but no less powerful. The restraints of cultural mores, familial expectations, or life experiences that limit or influence us towards certain choices. But perhaps most insidious of all are restraints sometimes hidden even from ourselves. A lack of inner freedom. Uncharitable or even completely untrue things we think or feel or say about ourselves and our worlds. I'm not going to get what I want anyway, so I'm not going to try. Nothing is going to change. This is the way it has always been done. It's the only way. Let's not rock the boat. We can't experience inner freedom if social influences, habits, emotional states, or conditioned beliefs become internalized cages that keep us perhaps safe from terrors both imagined and only too real. Safe, but not free. I believe much of what we do here at UUCMC works to combat many of those self-defeating attitudes. Here we create a safer space that asks everyone to consider being their most authentic selves, hopefully encouraging each of us to have a deeper sense of self-awareness, an awareness to know what is really driving us at any given moment, an awareness to understand that we're all human, and to practice forgiveness, self-forgiveness too. And here at UUCMC also, we hope to inculcate and help each of us to develop the courage to believe in our worthiness, to believe in our own agency, to believe that we can be free, at least from the inner constraints we place upon or accept for ourselves. How do we do that here? Through the power of community. A group of people making explicit promises about how they'll behave with one another. Behavior that honors each person's true being in all of its individual glory. Glory lived in the communal freedom of friendship. The communal freedom of friendship. It turns out, and this kind of blew my mind a little bit, maybe you already know, that the word freedom shares the same early Indo-European root with the word friend. Fri, a root based in a love meaning, but also in the idea of a shared power that grows. This root made its way into words emerging in Gothic, Norse, Celtic, Hindi, Russian, German, with freedom and friend occupying spaces together, not only linguistically, but in their meaning. For much of human history, being free and having ties of love were one and the same thing. Freedom was inseparable from interdependence, close ties, kinship. There are theories that the road to modern capitalism, a road that for us in the United States led directly through the seizure of common lands, the rise of the transatlantic slave trade, and the colonization and attendant genocides that created the Americas. That road dismembered the relationship between friendship and freedom. The free individual of today is divorced from the kind of transformative relationships of friendship that gave shape to freedom in the past. In their manifesto, Joyful Militancy, I like the title, Carla Bergman and Nick Montgomery maintain that it is still possible to recover that earlier meaning of freedom, where I am free because I have ties, because I am linked to a reality greater than myself alone. It is time, they say, to take back the friendship at the heart of freedom, to participate in the flow of others through intense bonds in which we become implicated in one another's struggles and capacities. They write, loving relationships can be what allow us to face the things we fear about ourselves. They can help undo the ways that we have internalized notions that we are not good enough, not worthy of love, or that we have to put up with things that deplete us and those we care about. Are we ready to take up their challenge? Can we be lions for one another's tigers, disabusing one another of the constraining lies that keep us from living into our true freedom? Can we understand, as we heard in today's chalice lighting words, that our freedom is more important than their anger, whomever they happens to be? Can we celebrate, as in our call to worship, the kinds of protests that are also parties of a kind? Recall its language. Why not rejoice as we resist? Dance as we demand change. Celebrate as we create community that delights in all of who we are. Why not, indeed? How many are thinking about going to the parade today? Okay. Let us take there our UUCMC determination that we can embody a liberating love together. That as a community of people intertwined in a common destiny, we are prepared to help one another become all that we were meant to be. Let us show to the world that the spirit of friendship is able to inform a new kind of freedom that is not new at all, merely recovered from a few centuries of individualism gone rampant. Let us renew our determination as we come to the close of one fiscal year and enter into the next, that we are prepared not only to show up physically, but to support financially this project of interdependent love we call the Unitarian Universalist congregation of Monmouth County. Though the tigers in us have been told over and over that we are not worthy of everything that could be ours to enjoy, can we muster the love of our inner lions and say, to the core of who we are as individual human beings, it is the lies we believe in that keep us in our cages, and it is the truth that sets us free? I believe we can. And we will do it together. May it be so. I invite us into a time of prayer and meditation. I propose listening to and then singing together two short verses that tell the story of collective determination. Combined, they are number 157 in our hymnal, and you'll see it on the screens. Step by Step, the Longest March. The story of the melding of its words to music is, I think, worth recounting. People's Songs was an organization founded by Pete Seeger, Alan Lomax, Lee Hayes, and others on December 31st, 1945, to create, promote, and distribute songs of labor and the people of the United States. The story goes that in 1948, Pete Seeger was in conversation with Waldemar Hille, also known as Wally. Wally was editing the People's Song Bulletin when Wally shared with Seeger two small verses that he had found printed as the preamble to the constitution of an early coal miners' union. Step by step, the longest march can be won. Many stones can form an arch. Singly, none. Singly, none. And by union, what we will can be accomplished still. Drops of water turn a mill. Singly, none. Singly, none. Seeger said, all it needs is a tune. To which Wally said, I suppose some old Irish tune might fit it. Like that song from the Irish potato famine of the 1840s, the praties, they grow small. Seeger said, let's try it. So the two men sat down and worked the verses to fit the tune, and thus was born a new song of solidarity and friendship that flowered in the movements for change in the 1960s. In our day and age, I suggest that we sing step by step in the spirit of a definition of the word step as a measure or action, especially one of a series taken in order to deal with or achieve a particular thing, rather than the steps any one of us might take with our temporarily abled legs. The song's message remains the same. Together we can do things we can only dream about alone. As we remain seated, Michael will play it through once, and then I invite us to sing it prayerfully together.
Step by step along this march, can be one. Many stones can form an arch, singly none, and by union what we will can be accomplished still. Drops of water turn singly none, singly none.
Amen.
In 2001, I packed up my life and I moved to Las Vegas with the love of my life. It felt like a bold leap. I'd always wanted to live there, and my adventurous spirit said, "Why not?" And so did she. It also didn't hurt that I'd be moving 2,011 miles from home, since I was still living in the closet and hiding who I was. Maybe, just maybe, in Las Vegas I could find freedom. Maybe I could finally figure out who I really was. I soon realized that I wasn't as free as I had hoped. When we left Las Vegas 2 years later, only one person knew the truth about our love. It wasn't until we moved to Pennsylvania that I saw a chance to try again. I wanted to meet people who would meet us, not just me. And then we made a life-changing decision and started thinking about having a family. Suddenly, hiding wasn't an option, and I couldn't imagine raising a child in a world where their family would have to be kept in the shadows. I needed to calm the storm inside me, and I needed a place to start healing. That's when I found Unitarian Universalism. I didn't walk into a UU congregation looking for religion, but for community, for a place where I could practice being myself, a place to begin healing my heart and my soul. On that first Sunday, I felt exposed. People were trying not to make assumptions, but I knew they knew, or at least they wondered if we were a couple. So I took a deep breath during their community hour, and I introduced my partner to a stranger for the first time. And something inside me cracked open. The warm welcome was like water to a wilting flower, and it changed everything. Soon after, I was hired as the youth program director of that congregation. That meant that I had to show up fully, not just for myself, but for the kids, for the youth. Working with young people reminds you every single day that they're watching. They notice how you treat yourself. They notice how you show up in the world, and they learn from it. Unitarian Universalism's first principle, the inherent worth and dignity of every person, rang in my ears and kept my heart. Every time someone affirmed me or my relationship, every time I could just be, a little more of my soul healed. Now, this is not to say that UUs always get it right. We're a people of learning, not perfection. For a long time, when someone would ask me, "Which one of you gave birth to your son? How did you get pregnant? What do you know about the donor?" I felt obligated to answer. And I've since learned that I don't have to. I can say, "No, that's private." And then I can take it further by gently explaining why those questions aren't okay, helping us all grow together. Because that's what faith is at its best. A place where we are learning to love better, live braver, and show up more fully. For me, Unitarian Universalism became a way to build community for myself and others. Can you imagine just how hard it is to live in this country right now as an LGBTQ person? Or as anyone facing marginalization or oppression without that kind of support? One of my earliest memories in this congregation was standing out in front with signs in support of marriage equality. And later I would sign my civil union in this very building. And when we were married, it was in a quiet ceremony in the East Room with the staff. UU community gave me the courage to stop hiding and start living. And it is one of the reasons that I dedicated my life to Unitarian Universalism. Because I believe that people need sanctuaries from the storm, places where they can rest, can catch their breath, and gather strength to go back out and transform the world. In UU Seminary, I found even more inner freedom. My understanding of self, of justice, of community keeps evolving. Each time I learn something new about intercultural competency, systems of oppression, theology, history, I spiral deeper into growth. And that's the sacred work that we're all called to do. We're all called to create community, to transform the world, and to transform ourselves. And we do it again and again. Personal growth is like a spiral because it often involves revisiting the same themes, challenges, and lessons repeatedly, but deeper and more expansive perspective each time. Unlike a straight line of progress, the spiral reflects how we circle back to familiar places in our emotional, spiritual, and psychological journey. Yet we are not the same each time we return. We do find peace within by crossing a finish line. It does not come from a single act, but an ongoing journey of learning, unlearning, and showing up again and again. There's a sticky note on my wall of my home office that reads, "None of us is free until all of us are free." It's a powerful statement by Jewish American and activist Emma Harris about the interconnectedness of freedom and social justice. It suggests that true freedom is not individual but collective, and that oppression anywhere undermines freedom everywhere. It reminds me daily that my liberation is tied to yours, and that creating community, transforming ourselves, and transforming the world might just be the recipe for freedom that we all deserve. So may we keep showing up for ourselves, for one another, and for the children who are watching us. May we be the people who say, "You are welcome here." May we be people committed to personal growth. May we become sanctuaries for those who need them. And may we find our inner freedom not by escaping who we are, but by becoming it fully, with love and with pride. Happy Pride, my friends. May it be so. And amen.
Especially for generations just before my own, pride will forever be intertwined with the tragedy of the AIDS crisis of the 1980s. In a time when there was not funding for a cure, when widespread ignorance was used by those in power to fan the flames of fear in their constituencies, when the President of the United States refused even to utter the word AIDS during his entire 2 terms of office. The Reverend Mark Bellatini wrote the text for our closing hymn for the dedication service of a home for people with AIDS, supported by Seattle's University Unitarian Church. The words are based on conversations on new spiritual language Bellatini had with Canadian Unitarian minister Mark DeWolf, for whom the home was named before DeWolf's death from AIDS-related complications. I invite us to rise in body and or spirit and sing number 130 in the hymnals and on the screen, "O Liberating Rose." Michael will play it through once before we sing it.
what you in our hands extend to soothe or to embrace a friend. You sign the hope and source of life.
At UUCMC, we celebrate our differences. We strive to know one another better in that this seems like basic human kindness only shows how far away from such mutual consideration many places in our country have strayed, often perversely in the name of religions that urge just the opposite upon their followers. It is a tragedy that religiosities proclaiming love as their central tenet can simultaneously turn their backs on persons loving one another and on persons being themselves. My call to ministry emerged from entering into a new openness, a new vulnerability, a new willingness to be my full self. I know it now more deeply in more ways, and I believe it's true for you too, that if we can embrace the courage to tell our stories, as Michelle did so beautifully, and to stay in connection with a friendly community of care, we too can embrace the development of our own authentic lives. For our benediction, words and music of Jerry Herman. I am what I am. I am my own special creation. So come, take a look. Give me the hook or the ovation. It's my world, but I want to have a little pride in my world. And it's not a place I have to hide in. Life's not worth a damn till you can say, hey world, I am what I am. I am what I am. I don't want praise. I don't want pity. I bang my own drum. Some think it's noise. I think it's pretty. And so what? If I love each feather and each spangle, why not try to see things from a different angle? Your life is a sham till you can shout out loud, I am what I am. I am what I am, and what I am needs no excuses. I deal my own deck. Sometimes the ace, sometimes the deuces. There's one life, and there's no return and no deposit. One life, so it's time to open up your closet. Life's not worth a damn till you can say, hey world, I am what I am. go and be who you are in all of your glory, and let us go in peace to bless this world.